was a selection of pages from Night Owl BBS and other retro pages from the broadcast days of Teletext and CFAX, courtesy of Brian Martin. Night Owl, if you're interested, is running right now and can be viewed either by going to nightowlbbs.ddns.net, and it's on port 6400. Alternatively, if you're like me, there's now 2 web portals you can visit, and links to those should be in the description to this live stream or video. And once again, we say a huge thank you to Brian Martin. Good evening, how are you doing? This is youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. We're live with 8 till late. Hi everybody, how you doing? Good evening. This is 8 till late live right here on youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep with me, Tom. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. Fair bit to try and get through between now and we reckon we'll be on air until 10 o'clock or some disaster happens, whichever happens first, basically. So I hope you're doing well. We're going to pretty much be carrying on from where we left off last week, which I'll remind you all about shortly, especially if you are joining us for the first time and wondering what did happen last week. I need a recap. We'll get there very shortly. Before we continue though, I just want to say a huge thank you and welcome once again to our channel members. They are our Patreon and YouTube channel members. They all are the fantastic people that continue week in, week out to support me and the work done right here on youtube.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. You can join them and help support the work I do either over on Patreon. It's patreon.com/Wi-Fi Sheep. Or alternatively, you know the score by now, you can join right here on YouTube. Base support starts from 99 pence all the way up to £2.99. That's British pound sterling, and it'll be converted into your local currency, or if it can't be, it'll be US dollars by default. Once again, huge thank you to everybody that supports me here on YouTube. Okay, how you doing? Yeah, interesting week, tiring week. A few things I want to get through. Before I forget, because this is kind of important, a few notes and some dates to tell you. So, the Econet LAN party event, which hasn't formally been announced, I don't think, or at time of streaming this live to you right now, hasn't been. So basically that's the Econet Acorn LAN party, happens at Bletchley Park, the National Computer Museum, or the National Museum of Computing, to give it its proper name. That's going to be the 7th and 8th of June 2025. I'm hoping to be there. I'm kind of like 90% yeah, I'm going to go. But I'm probably going to stop over. I did it for the first time when it first ran 2 years ago, and I did the Sunday, just came down for the Sunday, because Milton Keynes, Bletchley Park's in Milton Keynes. Although it's like the other side of the country, it's not too long or too difficult for me to get to it from here, so well worth it. And of course the museum itself, I keep calling it National Computer Museum, it's the National Museum of Computing at Bletchley Park, the famous World War II code-breaking site. Well worth a visit, well worth supporting that museum, and it would just be fun to go again, I reckon. So 7th, 8th of June, and yeah, would really be up for trying to go for that. I will get details when I have more concrete stuff to share with you. The next one, which I've been told we can talk about, it hasn't been officially announced yet, but we can mention it, is I have the dates, or the sort of initial dates, subject to change, for this year's Cambridge Retro Computer Festival. That's at the other museum at the Centre for Computing History, Cambridge, England. And that'll be on the 15th and 16th of November 2025. It's again my full intention to be there for that one on both days. Now I know last year I went on and on and on about pre-booking tickets, only to then people could just show up and get in. I'm told this year, and again, don't quote me on this, I'm told this year that apparently it will be closed ticketing only. There won't be any walk-in tickets, apparently, because if they do pre-books purely for the event, they can shut down a lot of the other exhibit content that's normally in the museum to clear more space for exhibitors. So more exhibitors, more visiting content, apparently. But they can't do that if it's on the door ticketing or something like that. The more I say this to you, the more that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's kind of what I think I've been told. So don't quote me on that. I'll update you when or if I have any more information. But yeah. So Cambridge Retro Computer Festival, initial date we're looking at the 15th and 16th of November 2025. And finally, for dates and times, I don't think I will be here next week. So we're not going to have a live 8 till 8 next week. We'll have one the week after. So after tonight's live edition, I'll be back on Saturday, the 8th of February from 2000 hours GMT. So please don't rock up next week because, yeah, I won't be live for that. Of course, you've got all the previous back catalogue of episodes and all the other content here on the channel. And I could do with making some more content at some point. So, yeah. Let's have a quick look in the chat because I haven't got my chat tab open. How are we doing? Hello to Martin. Hello to Paulo or Paulio B. And hello to Brian Martin. How are you doing? Great to have you with me. What are we saying? Good evening. Good evening. Great stuff with the BBC Master last week. I really enjoyed that. We're going to be doing more of that right now. And Brian said, good evening. I've always wanted to ask this. What is the... Who behind you? Any what? Heraldry? Oh, right. Behind you. Any history significance of it for you personally? Ah! Okay, we'll do that very quick. So... Hang on, I get my left and right, so I need to shuffle off over it. Okay, right, so, you mean by this the flag? Yeah, I'm assuming. Okay, yeah, right. So, quick story about that. This flag is called the Loggerheads, and it's actually the county flag for Shropshire, England. So, it has three lions on it, and basically it's my sort of home county flag for Shropshire. It was suggested originally by one of the sponsors that I had that maybe I should have some flags or something in the background, and this was one of the Chinese sponsors, and I think they were used to dealing with Americans and American channels and things where obviously they're very patriotic about the Stars and Stripes because of the Republic system that they have in the States. And they were sort of saying I should have, you know, English flags or Union Jacks or things. And I kind of said it doesn't really work like that for us because it can have kind of negative far-right connotations here. And we're not really flag people, if you know what I mean. We don't have the same feeling towards our national flag that the United States does. So I said, what about a compromise? And I said, what about if I get a Loggerheads flag, which is what this is, and they were like, yeah, let's go with that. So we just started doing that, and then the war in Ukraine broke out, and obviously me having a yellow and blue flag behind me, everyone thought I was making some sort of you know, political statement about that, which I wasn't. It was just extremely unfortunate timing. So yeah. So that's what that is. If you look up the county flag for Shropshire, you'll see that comes up. It's called the Loggerheads. So there you go. Right. There we are. Do you know, I forget I have that up, to be honest with you. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's what that is. Right. Okay, where were we? Yes. So I was mentioned about the Midlands computing event that I haven't got an official time or date for, being run by the same people that organised the Cambridge Festival. Apparently, that's got some problems at the moment and might not be running. So I haven't got any more details about that. It's a bit disappointing because that would have been a nice local one I could have jaunted to up the M6 from here. So yeah, so that's a bit unfortunate. It's not definitely off, but apparently it's not looking particularly good right now. So just a heads up on that. We might not have a Midland event this year, which would be unfortunate. So right, yeah. So I know most of you are dying me to get on with the song. I'll just talk a few things about what's been going on. So because I know people like to ask about the chickens, I don't know if you follow chicken news, but apparently, well, it's not apparently, it's happened. We're in bird flu lockdown. So because I keep poultry, even though it's a small amount of chickens, I have to register with the British government because they now need to know how many birds I have, because chickens they're not classed as pets. So it's not like a pet. They don't have the same rights as a pet cat or dog. They're classed, even if you have one or two as pets, they're classed as commercial livestock. And they are animal protection rights that the animals have for welfare, but they don't have the same protections that a cat or dog has. So basically the law doesn't see them as pets. You can't have a pet chicken. They're not classed as that. So I basically come under the same rules as a full-blown chicken farm, basically. Anyway, we've had bird flu, which is contagious to people, and it comes over nearly every year from Eastern Europe and Russia on migrating birds. And we've been lucky the past few years, but we've particularly having a bad season. And DEFRA, the government agricultural agency, they've got my number. They text me, and basically they've ordered a compulsory lockdown of poultry, which means we have to house them under cover so they can't come into contact with wild birds or wild bird droppings. I'll just show you this real quick. So this is on the government website. This is the British government, and this is the live map, which shows you kind of what's going on. Each of these, by the way, is an outbreak, a confirmed outbreak. What's extremely worrying, and this happened the other week, is this outbreak. So this is Shropshire, which borders that Shropshire there. Okay. And we had an outbreak in North Shropshire here at Wem, which is literally up the road. I'm here in central Shrewsbury. Okay. So my poultry is here and the outbreak is here. So basically, we've been ordered to lock the poultry down, and we're just going to have to hope that the birds survive being cooped up inside, because they're not going to be happy. And that causes the birds stress. And let's hope we don't get bird flu, because if I do, the government will come and take my birds away, and they will get slaughtered. So, yeah. But we do this nearly every year. So far, we've been all right, but hey-ho. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you, because reasons. Yeah. So this week I am actually quite tired, because it's been, again, a full week at work. And I have done some teaching. I've done 3 hours of quite intensive teaching at our secondary campus. For those of you who don't know, I work as what's called a mechatronics engineer for Harper Adams University. So I work basically agricultural robotics for a university is what I do as my job. And I also double up as a teacher. So I actually do teach students. And we had some sixth form students visit us at we have a new satellite campus set up directly in Telford Town Centre, central Shropshire. And basically I do what's called STEM, which is science, technology, engineering and math. You've probably heard of STEM. And we had these school groups, or sixth form school groups, come in, and I ran a light robotics session, which I had to rerun 3 times during this event. So it all went very, very well, but very tired. What I will say, just on one note, right, college kids. Okay, so the education system in this country changed a little bit from when probably most of us were. If you're at school in the UK, you will probably know that you got to like year 11, which is 16 years old, and then basically you did 2 years, which wasn't compulsory, but you could do 2 years at college, which took you 17, 18, and at 18 you could go to university, right? Well, of course, the law changed now, so you can't actually leave education until you're 18. So what a lot of schools have done is they've just added a year. What used to be called the sixth form is now a year 12 and 13 onto the school year. So we had college students, the ones that actually came from proper college, were on first name terms. So basically the whole sir and miss and school uniforms disappear normally when you're post 16. So the first one, it was, first name terms. They called me Tom, basically. But the second two were just extensions of school years. So these kids were literally just carrying on as if they were still at school, which they were. They all came in school uniforms and blazers and bags. And I was Mr. Williamson, or Sir, and they called me Sir. And we did it like it was like teaching, 11, 12-year-olds. And I'm thinking, this is a bit weird. But that's kind of where education's gone from my time. My time, you left school, you went to college, the whole world changed. You suddenly didn't have to call everyone Sir and Miss. And then you went to uni if you wanted to, and I went to uni, and of course that carried on. So the point I'm making is we get school kids that are going to go right up to 18 in this whole school uniform, tie, shirt, Sir and Miss type thing, and then they're going to hit uni, and then there's no uniforms, it's different because they're adults, and suddenly they're on first name terms with everybody, and it just totally throws them that suddenly they can call, well, we're not teachers, we're lecturers or technicians or staff, and they don't have to call them Mr. or Sir or Miss or anything like that, and we're all on first name terms, and it just blows their mind and they can't cope with it. So yeah, I just thought that was amusing. What we do is I'll say hello to Andrew. Could a large top only be used as cover for a small outside area? Yes. Back to bird flu. Yes. So I don't know if you've ever seen any of the video. If you look at my other channel, what's now called Grow Up, the garden farm channel, which I haven't done anything with for ages, you've seen my bird setup. So I've got them. When I say they're locked down, they are out and they can go out into their coop. So they have, the coop is the bit they sleep in, and then the run is the fenced off cage bit, which is technically outside that they can go into. And that's been covered. That's all been meshed, netted, and it's got tarpaulins over the top to cover it for safety. So they can stay in there. So they are technically outside. What they can't do is leave that and go out into the larger, wider, open sky garden, if you like. That's now not allowed. That's now illegal. So so they can go outside and get fresh air and see some sunlight, but it's not ideal because they're used to scrounging around. They don't like being cooped up together. And although it's a relatively large area I've got for them, it's still it's not ideal, and the birds are stressed, which makes me unhappy, but that's the law. So we'll just try and keep them comfy. We'll make them nice things to eat, feed them extra corn, things like that they'll like, and we'll just have to go from there. But because my flock's getting kind of elderly, the stress could actually finish them off, ironically. But it's one of those things. So anyway, yes, but no, tarpaulins is fine. As long as you've got a covered area that wild birds can't get to them, and they can't get to wild birds, then that's fine. You're just trying to create that gap. Anyway, right, glass of water. There we are. Let's do computing. I've talked for 20 minutes. Let's do computing. Right. So, recap. Last week, I looked at some BBC Master 128 8-bit computers from Acorn. Because normally a BBC Master system, which is the later of the BBC Micros, it's from the BBC Micro family, but it's the later machine from 1986. There should be one that sits here, and it's not there because it broke, and it's been very unreliable. With the shows coming up this year, especially the Econet LAN party on the 7th and 8th of June at the National Museum for Computing, I kind of thought it'd be nice to get that machine's gone before a couple of times. So I'd like to get that machine set up back with its Ethernet network card so it can join in the party. But it was just totally unreliable, and it wouldn't save its CMOS settings because the battery pack had failed, and I'd done some dodgy soldering and there was all sorts of problems. So we started looking at that, and basically we spent the entire evening undoing all the bad stuff that I'd done not quite 10 years ago, but all my cac-ops from 8 years ago or something. Anyway, that was last week. So this week I then said I wanted to get at least another one of these 128s. I've got 3 BBC Master 128s, and I wanted to get another one up and running, one that's never actually ran with me. It's just been in store as a spare, well, both have been spare parts machines, but I want to get another one up and running because I kind of want to run a couple of higher end BBC Micro demos, and I want to have that on one, and then I want the other one dedicated for running GEM and using the Raspberry Pi Tube Direct co-processor. You probably remember me getting these sort of windowing DOS GEM graphical user interface actually running on a BBC Micro. It was quite cool. We could actually play some DOS compatible games. It wouldn't run Windows, but it would run GEM desktop quite well. So I'd like to have a dedicated GEM desktop 128, and I'd like to have another 128 that can do, some of the more fancy demos, especially things like the more recent port of Stunt Car Racer, which was done a little while ago, and I featured that. I've got it on disc actually. Got it on floppy, so we'll be loading off original floppies as well, which is kind of cool. So, also I want to try and get my Cub CRT monitors and my Philips CRT monitors serviced. I'm not going to do that on live stream because working with cathode ray tubes is hellish awful at the best of times, and I don't particularly fancy electrocuting myself live on air, so we won't be doing that. But what we will be doing today is trying to get the second of the machines, so not my main 128 that we were working on last week. We're going to look at the other one, which I want to bring online for the first time, get it serviced and ready for basically this 2025 exhibition season. However, the first thing we need to do is service a power supply. So we looked at the machine last week and the board was okay. I had a little mod on it. I've got it down there and I will grab it in a minute, but it had a little mod on it. Do you know what? Instead of me describing, let's just cut to overview. So, just take my notes off camera. So I had to remember where I was actually storing the power supplies, because these have been out in the machines for the best part of 6-7 years. So basically I need to remember, where did I put the supplies? Now this one has not been serviced at all, and it's ready to go, ready to be serviced. These are the power supplies needed for the Master 128s. They're not the same as the ones used in the BBC Micro Model B. Okay, the Model B supply is a little bit different. Same kind of thing, but different. So let's just pop that out of the way. And I've got a big pile of masters here. By the way, I will say, after last week, the mess in here, I just had, you remember we were trying to scrub and clean with glass fibre brushes? I just had like bits of fibre everywhere stuck in me. It was horrible. I've only just managed to clean it all up. And then I just had bits of BBC Micro just scattered all over the floor. So I was like, oh my God, we've made such a mess. Right, so hopefully you can see that these machines are really big, so trying to squeeze them on camera is a bit of a nightmare. So this is the one I'd like to use. It's very good condition actually. It's quite nice, hasn't yellowed. I thought I'd lost the plastic piece that sits in there for the notes, and I haven't. I actually found it. There it is. So not sure why that got removed, but I think we might pop that back in. I don't think this machine really needs any kind of like retro brighting or anything. It looks okay. It may have changed colour a little bit, but it is relatively clean, which is nice. It's nice to have something that's clean for once, rather than the sort of well, the other stuff I've been working on, which has been yeah. I'm shooting a video at the moment, or trying to do a video, but it's a slow process because I haven't got the time I used to have. So let's just pop that back in. So yeah, that's great. So that's the plastic back in. Anyway, right, so we take this lid off. I'll explain what's going on. So there's no ooh, bang. It's all right, it's just the lid. Okay, so first issue was there's like no fixings or fittings for anything. Screws basically, so everything is just loose. And you can see the big hole where the power supply is meant to be. And I was like, where is the actual screws and fixings? I would have dismantled these machines. I'm trying to think, where was I when I dismantled these? I think I was in Kidderminster still. If you go back, sort of anything from up to 2018, so between 16 and 18, basically the early years of this channel, most of the content, if not all of it, actually came from Kidderminster, where I had a couple of rooms there that was my mother's former house, and I was working out of there. So that's probably when it's where I did the original Cub videos, and yeah, that would be the last time when I would have taken these machines apart. And that would have been like easily 8 years ago now. So I haven't serviced anything or done anything since. So I was like, where are all the screws and the fixings? Luckily, and I literally was scrounging around trying to think, where are they? And I know I'd seen them. You know when you've seen something and you don't know where you've seen it? But luckily, I actually found that I have been keeping everything safe. So I wasn't that reckless or stupid. We'll just pop the lid back on. Actually, do you know what? We'll just take the machine down there for a moment. So, in here, I did actually keep all the parts, including a collection of original reefers. So when people say, oh, you know, the reefer caps and power supplies need to be changed, need to be, etc. This is what we're talking about, okay? These are reefers, and they're used, they're capacitors, and they're used in switching power supplies in things like the early Macintosh, BBC Micro, Apple II had them in as well, and a few others. And they're used as line filtering capacitors, so they're bridged mainly on between the live high voltage side and the ground side of switching supplies, which is fine until they dry out, they go bad, and they start, you can't really see it on here, but they do start to crack, and there's a very fine crack just inside, which means they're drying out, and then they explode and can cause all sorts of havoc, and terrible things can happen. So BBC Micro has two in its power supply. It's the same with the Model B. As long as it's the switching version, it's the same as the Model B or the Master. All have this issue. And there's a inline electrolytic that apparently goes bad as well. So that's what we need to take out and replace on that power supply. Luckily, I have got the original case fixings and also the little brackets. And interestingly, because I don't remember doing this, but I obviously must have, I have another battery pack, which actually doesn't look too bad soldered. The battery packs, I explained this before last week. By the way, this is an original, so which has gone across the terribleness. Luckily, leakages on BBC Masters aren't generally terrible, because originally they were meant to have a lithium power cell, which went in this cage here, so it went in this space here, and it was a rechargeable lithium battery cell that was meant to keep the CMOS. The BBC Master was the first machine that actually had a CMOS. Unfortunately, though, there was a fault or something, and those batteries kept catching fire, and the machines would physically catch fire. So Acorn basically bought Duracell. These are 1980s Duracell AAAs. Wrapped them in a shrink wrap, soldered them together. They're not even in a battery pack. They just literally soldered batteries together, and then created a circuit which has, it's in this piece here, this shrink wrap, or heat shrink, sorry. There's a diode and a resistor in circuit, and that stops these recharging. So they're just normal non-rechargeable batteries. That's what an original pack looks like. What you can do is recover all this stuff if you don't want to buy new stuff, and put it into proper battery thing for just AA batteries, and that should work. So I'm assuming that's good. Should be all right. So I'm wondering if we just use this battery pack tonight. I've also got a speaker, which we'll need later. And there's both. So out of the 3 machines, these are 2.5. So I've got all the fixings for all of them, basically, which is great. So hopefully we'll be all right to put back together a machine. If we do well tonight, then we might get one. For the first time ever that I've seen it, we may get a machine actually boot up. A master I've not seen yet. So, right. Power supply. I hate doing this. You know what? It's like, do you ever have those jobs, those of you that do retro computing especially, but do you ever have those sort of jobs within your hobby that you just hate doing? I hate working on CRTs, properly hate working on, especially colour CRTs, and I hate servicing power supplies. Just looking in the chat because I've been waffling for a bit. We'll say good evening to George. I had an old Dell 386 desktop. I need to do something with the battery. It's 3 pins or 4 pins. I need to look. Well, these are actually the BBC has, the BBC Master. It's a 3-pin socket, but it only actually has 2 wires connected. So one of the pins is just dead. Because it's center ground. No, I beg your pardon, it's not center ground. It's that's weird. It's live center live. Yeah, interesting. Right, yeah. But basically, see, a battery still has a positive and a negative side, even if it's like 3 or 4 pins. I think. Yeah. So if it's anything like this, it's probably sort of like it's either center ground, center positive, and then it's ground either side. So that's basically how that works. Of course, there is the Performer, the Macintosh Performer 630, mid-90s beige box, Scully era, John Scully era Mac. They's used like a black battery in like a Velcroed onto the PCB. I've took that out. Those die. Apparently, you can't get them anymore, but you can use alternative battery powers or packs for that. So that's something else on my to-do list. And then we all know, if you've seen the anyone who's ever owned a Acorn Risk PC, which is the spoilers, is what else I'm working on at the moment, knows about the horrors of the soldered-on batteries on those boards. Basically, every Risk PC is probably destroyed because the batteries just leak. And so yeah, Risk PC. I'm doing a big Risk PC project at the moment as well. That's what I'm trying to get filmed. So we're doing BBC Masters live, and I'm doing Risk PCs as a record. So it's going very slowly, basically. I will say good evening to TB Martin, who's there. I picked up a Raspberry Pi monitor this week, and it goes very well with the 400 and RISC-OS Direct. Plan on tinkering more tomorrow. Kind of on topic. Yeah, everything's valid. Don't worry about it. We've just been talking about chickens, for God's sake, so I wouldn't worry about being off topic. Yeah, I need to look at the new build of RISC-OS Direct because I've not been involved in the project. I mean, Risk Direct was kind of like my thing. So I think I mentioned this before. The Direct logo, the blue triangle cog, is mine. I own that. And the desktop, you know, with the cog, the triangles flying through the grey cog, the kind of desktop. When you look at Risk Direct, you get that desktop image now. I did all that as well. So, Risk Direct, for those of you who don't know, started live. It was originally the iDate computer version of RiskOS, which I was doing when I was called iDate computer, and then that morphed into Wi-Fi Sheep RiskOS, and it was that version that then got picked up by RiskOS Developments that bought Castle, that was the owners of RiskOS, and then they approached me and we did an arrangement, and the Wi-Fi Sheep RiskOS became RiskOS Direct, and then I left the project. So that operating system, or that version of the operating system, originated from this YouTube channel. But you didn't know that. Right, anyway, so cutters, cable ties need cutting. We need to be careful not to cut into the cable. This is the power bus for the PCB. So there we go. Cable ties would have been installed in 1986 probably. There we go. It has been, I'll be honest with you, it's been a long time since I've done one of these, so just cut that off. Cut that off. Right. There's also this horrible rubber grommet thing that I need to sort out. And again, apologies for the dog. Bless her. Okay, so that's the underside. With the PCB, it's interesting how it's... oh, by the way, don't worry. You see this wrinkling of the foil? Don't worry about that. That's absolutely fine. It's interesting how the BBC... well, both BBCs actually, but especially the Master... The PCB was designed, I think, was designed on computer by machine, where the actual power supplies, which Acorn obviously bought in, you can see it's actually hand drawn. So, I just thought that was interesting because reasons. Right, let's get into this. Let's have a chat. So, TV Martin saying it's my go-to RiskOS now. So thank you for what you did. Oh well, you're welcome. I can't take credit. I mean, Direct was a combination of a number of key people basically. So I'm not going to. I cannot take full. I don't know. I'm getting into this. I can't take full credit for it. But it's good. I mean, I haven't played with, because I'm not on the project anymore, so I haven't played with the latest version that's got the Wi-Fi in it, which is a different Wi-Fi stack in Direct to what you get in the official Pi version. So it's the same operating system. They're not forks in the traditional sense. So it uses exactly the same ROM. So the actual binary OS between RiskOS Pi 5 and RiskOS Direct is completely the same ROM. Yeah. It's not a fork. All it is Direct is set up a little bit differently in software and calibration to what the official Pi build is. And they now have two different Wi-Fi stacks. So RiskOS Developments has their Wi-Fi stack in Direct, and Rule, RiskOS Open Limited, had their Wi-Fi stack, the one we looked at on the channel, and I wasn't very impressed with. I've not tried the one in Direct yet, but I'm probably going to be doing that very shortly, actually. Again, spoilers to what I... might be working on. Right. I don't want to... That is very tight. And I'm just going to... See, I'm taking the... so I can just grip it. There's always one blooming screw that has to be tight that we can't get into. Wow, that's tight. And I don't want to strip it. damn it. Wasn't expecting that tonight. I've had this with corroded stuff, but so I've got a slightly flatter. Let's have a look. Now I need a slightly flatter screwdriver without the. Let's go through the entire. No, that's not it, right? They're all a bit. See, the problem is screwdrivers are all a bit too pointy. Here's something a little bit blunter. There we go. Okay, that got it. That got it. Slightly stripped the head though, which is annoying. Okay. Oh, I just hate these. I hate servicing the power supplies. Did I mention that? I think I did. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I should probably say if you're not comfortable servicing power supplies, then stay out, especially switching supplies. The ones that usually have the label on the top, it says caution, no serviceable parts. Don't run these obviously outside the cases. This one literally has not been turned on pretty much ever, as far as I know, for me. So there's no chance of any high voltage left in it. But just, you know, just a warning really. And also this isn't a tutorial, so don't use this as a reference. I should say don't use anything I ever say as a reference. On the BBC Micro Supplies, they have this Molex type connector, which is actually used for powering peripherals like external floppy drives. And you need to push this through the metal, and it's a real pain to do without messing it up. So it takes blooming half an hour just to get into this damn thing. So you need to sort of just use a pair of pliers just to push down. We just push. Like so. It's just these two top things, and I can get those in. Yep, that's one in. Try and do this on camera. Okay, and that's damn that bottom one's. Come on. Oh, that is beyond annoying. Screwdriver. Right, those are in. It's just got to keep applying pressure just on the connector. Apologies, my head's probably going to get in the way now, but I can just see what I'm doing. There's probably a special tool for this, you know. And of course you just get it in the bottom and then it pops out the blooming top of it. Come on. Ah, there we go. Nearly. There you go, see, nearly through. One more and I think we're in. that's my screwdriver falling. Are we done? Are we there? Ah, yes, we're there. Okay. So we now, because we've got to be careful how we do this, so it's been such a long time since I've done it as well. Right, flathead, which is dropped on the floor. Where's that gone? There we go. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to fit. See? Oh, yes, hang on. There's two on the top. Two on the top as well. Let's just take those out. So we probably now need to release. There's another little grommet here that needs to be released. So we can actually put the power cable through, so we can actually pull the board forward. And again, you want to do this without damaging the flex, which is it is easy enough. It's just standard power cord flex, so it's not horrendous if you have damaged it. But I think I'm trying to remember a couple of years ago when I was servicing some beeps that I sold on, I actually replaced the flex because they were a bit nasty. I had to change the plugs anyway. So, and there's that one there. It has to come out as well. So hang on a minute. There's too many different things happening at once with this, so it's just an absolute pain to get into. So I need to try and get these grommets out really, again without damaging the cabling. So or damaging myself. And I remember this being a complete pain. That's why I kind of like, you know, avoid this. Absolutely avoid doing these supplies because they are just horrible to there we go. Okay. Yeah, they're just horrible. When they come out, they're alright, but okay, so that one's out. Now we just need to do the one on the back for the mains. And without damaging the mains cable. Come on. I promise when you get them out, they're all blooming chewed up, aren't they? Because yeah, that's definitely going to have to come out. So. There's probably a proper tool for this, or a proper way to do it that I am not doing. Almost need just another flathead actually. There we go. That's got it. That's got it. Bugger. There we are. There we go. Right. And then the power supply. We can feed the cabling back in. There we go. And then this can comes through. Again, you have to make sure you've discharged these because as I said, this one hasn't ran since I've owned it, which is now years. So ironically, memory, there probably wasn't a need to take that one out, but never mind. I'd forgotten that. Okay. So inside, there's then some connectors here, and there's another, I don't know if you can see that, there's another cable tie. You need to be very, very careful just to snip to release that. There we go. And then there's some spade type connectors on the back of the switch, the main switch. Which probably aren't going to come out now. Because they are probably really crusty on there, so. And I don't obviously want to damage the cables, so I can't remember. Did they come off? Oh, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so let's just feed that back through. These are horrible, absolutely horrible to get into. Again, I don't know how we'll do tonight on time. It's the sort of thing that if I do in an edit, you know, I'll spend hours trying to sort this out and then you'll get like 2 minutes of footage. But when we do it in real time, there we go. So you can see the issue. I don't know, in all honesty, if to just, I could probably work with it like that. It's not ideal, but it works. So classic switching power supply from the kind of, you know, early mid-80s design. Actually, I'm looking at this, and those capacitors are different. After getting all that work, those capacitors, so there's the two smoothing caps, and those are blue. They're not reefers. Which means this, after all that work, this supply might be all right, he says. Let's just have a quick inspection. Really, what you should do now, and what everyone is starting to do, is they're starting to recap all these electrolytics. So I'm just having a quick inspection of the board, see if there's anything particularly nasty. Because normally it's these two capacitors and this that you change. On here, this is the adjustment board. So there's a little pot here which has a little blob on, so this adjusts the voltage output. Basically this whole thing takes, oops, in my case, sorry, it's just stuff falling everywhere. This basically in my case takes, well, it says 240 but it's 230 now, 230 volts in, and converts that to 5 volts effectively. It does 5 volts, and so it's 5 volts ground, and then the purple is 5 volts negative, or negative 5 volts. Well, it looks all right. Hi Richard, how you doing? Yes, just discovered that after we've watched me for about half an hour or over an hour battle this. Yeah, I've just realised that they're okay. They're not, yeah, they're polycaps. They don't need changing. Yeah. So yeah, basically the point I'm making is these blue caps don't need changing. So I've just, yeah, but I didn't know what was in this power supply, and I wouldn't have known until I took it apart. So hey ho, okay. So I'm quite happy with that. Do you know what? The fuse is just here. Let's just check that the let's just check our fuse is all right. Oh, for God's sake! There goes the fire alarm downstairs. Don't worry, that's called my that's called Anna cooking. So, well, just a minute. Could you refrain from burning the house down? Thank you. It's fine. It's fine. Right, where were we? I don't know if you heard her reply. It's like, yes. Oh, where are we? Sorry, late for stream. No, you don't have to apologise, Rich. People come and go all the time. I mean, it's absolutely fine. Don't worry about it. I'm just sort of hitting things with... I haven't quite got to the hammer stage yet, but yeah. Right, where were we? Continuity mode. Get distracted. So, let's just check the fuse. Yes, well, we end up eating... Because basically what... this is a comment here from Paul saying, by the way, hello, good evening to you. 9 p.m. cooking, late for... No, I haven't had tea yet. Okay, fuse is fine. So basically what happens is, because of Anna's work patterns, because she works in retail, she's a retail manager, and so she's on shift work, and that can mean very, very late evenings. So we ended up eating later and later and later, and now it can be like sort of 9-10 o'clock at night before we have tea. So we've just got used to doing that. So with this stream, I have to make a decision. Am I going to eat? By the way, tea, I have this with our US people. Tea is in dinner, evening meal. Tea, as we call it. Not tea to drink. Tea is in the food meal, an English term. So, yeah, I mean, it used to be, used to be like 5-6 o'clock, like all other sane people. But now it's like, yeah, we're not eating till sort of gone 10 at night sometimes. So, yeah, it doesn't do your metabolism very good, especially as you get older, I'll tell you that. But, right, so we're good. We're good. So, do you know what? Let's put this back together then. So, yeah, hindsight, I didn't have to take it apart at all, but I wasn't to know that. So, it will need servicing, but what I'd like to do with these is replace them really. We talked last week about other solutions possibly. I'd like to investigate that at some point, because these don't run efficiently. They're not modern supplies. Technology has moved on in the world of switching power supplies. So, get these through this hole. Richard, breakfast, dinner and tea, as it should be. None of this breakfast, lunch and dinner rubbish. I think I've said this before, is having to translate British terminology, you know, British English terminology for, it's not just American, it's international English, which is based on American English. You know, where if you speak British English here in England, people get confused. Unless you're also from here. Or Scottish, in the case of both, where are we? Brian and... Brian, I'm assuming you're Scottish. Have I got that right? I can't remember now. Are you up far north? I can't remember. I know, I never pronounce his name right. Gertmon is, but it's not Gertmon. I keep calling him Gertmon. He's going to get pissed off at me. Keep doing that. But Gartmorn, that's it. Is obviously, but I won't go back now. Hang on. There's always this lag while I'm waiting to see if A, if you've heard the question, or B, if you're going to answer. Okay, that goes back in there. That doesn't go back in there because that has to go. Oh, get this back the right way. Sorry, do it on camera. So what I'm trying to do is just feed these back through. These last ones are a complete pain. I am out of practice, I'm afraid. I haven't done one of these in years because I hate doing them. They're annoying. I'm just trying to get, see the little spade connectors, which are for the PCB PowerPoints. I need to just get those back through. The good news is, because we don't have to recap this, if I can get this back together, we can put it in a board and see if we boot. And if we boot, we can use the other battery pack I found that I must have done at some point, and I just don't remember, but maybe I didn't and it was already done. I don't know. I can't remember. If you're late joining, we found another battery pack which has been modded, and I don't remember modding it. So basically, if we get this all back together, we can see if we can get a machine up and running. Should be cool. I can smell what she's cooking as well now, and I'm just like getting hungry. I'm trying to think, was there an edition of this where I actually just ate my dinner live on it? I got a feeling there was one time I did. I was half thinking about cracking open a beer, you know. Right, that goes in there, and then let's get this back. Okay, that's that through, that's that in. Okay, there we go. Right, let's put the screws back in. Yeah. You know, it's interesting you said that. Paul's just said in the comments, I'm sure no one minds you eating or having a beer. You think we're not snack? Yeah. The difference is that believe it or not, the YouTube ad revenue can get a bit funny about depictions of alcohol or things on camera. Believe it or not, and especially trying to stream this in certain Middle Eastern overseas markets, if you get my drift. Don't like the idea of banned substances being consumed. It's bad, you know. So yeah, it's amazing actually what you sort of can't do, or it's sort of not a good idea to do. But why doesn't that go in there? It went in there. Oh god damn it. It's just, we're a little bit, come on, we're off kilter. But I should be sponsored by a tea company, you know, as in the do you know what, let's just leave that a minute. Let's get these others in. Drink enough of it, so come on, nothing wants to go in now. So looking in the chat, Brian, yes, you're soon right, Tom. Glasgow based. I thought you were. I couldn't remember if it was like County Durham, which is kind of like why is nothing going in? County Durham, which is basically sort of very, very far north England before you hit the border for Scotland. Or if you were actually Scotland. By the way, what how's the weather been? I know very, very English thing to talk about. We had a big storm come through that hit Ireland really, really bad. So it went over Ireland and into Scotland. It was bad everywhere, but it was particularly bad for Scotland. So I'm just wondering how you did up there. Here we got about, it was just gusty. We did about 53 mile an hour winds, something like that. It was just gusty. A little bit of damage, as in a terrible plastic shed. The door fell off of a already pretty decrepit shed. But that was it. I mean, the chicken coops are all fine. Even the, you know, the tarpaulin didn't blow off, so we're all right. What am I not doing with this? It will not go in. Terrible design. Got one in, ironically the one that, come on. I'm just stripping the screw now, believe it or not. Yes, I know there's a few counties between, I know, I'm very aware of that. I was just for me, County Durham is like, you know, very north. Yeah, so, I am aware there's more going on than yeah. No, right, so the screw I couldn't get off, which is this one, he's got in fine. It's just all the others are not playing now. I don't remember having this trouble before. Just put a bit of pressure on it. Come on. Hang on. Stripping the screw heads, which is a problem. I can't understand what is going on here. Because it looks like, to me, that looks really simple just to go back in. Ah, yes, the Beano. Never actually had the comic, for those of you that are unfamiliar. Never actually had the Beano myself, but my brothers had it, and I just used to read theirs. Favourite strip in that was the Bash Street Kids, which I believe has gone a bit, what's the word, woke, the modern version of it apparently. It's not quite the same as it used to be, but oh well, there you go. Apparently, so I'm told. Is it my screwdrivers are just not very good here, or what is going on with this? Right. You people are going to be very disappointed when you hear this, but I've never been to Scotland. I know, I've generally never been to Scotland, so the furthest north I've actually ever been that I can think of is County Durham. Yeah, I'm not massively well travelled, put it that way. But yeah, sorry to shock horror everyone. I spent my student days at university in Cornwall, so right down the other side, bottom of the country. Obviously, I've been to Wales, because I'm right on the border with Wales, where I am here. London and the south coast, obviously. Bournemouth. I've been to Southampton, can't remember. Bournemouth, yes. And I've done stuff for work. So that was my previous work, not current work. And I've been to the Republic of Ireland. Never been to Northern Ireland, but I have been to the Republic. That's the other thing that confuses, especially Americans overseas, is how Ireland works. And it's like, right, so this bit is part of the UK, and this bit is not. And I'm like, what? This bit is a republic, and this bit is a monarchy. It's like, right, okay. And then we could go through all the political stuff with that as well. And then I don't get it. And no, we're not going there tonight. I'm just saying as a passing comment. But no, I have been to the Republic. I don't want to strip the screws, but I'm trying to. Come on. God, right, that put up a fight. Okay. That's back in. That's in. Assuming these two on the top will be alright. There's metal fragments everywhere. So it was an idea not to over tighten screws. Honestly now don't know if we're actually even screwing into anything. Okay. Plastic grommets that I hate. I will put this one back on because it is kind of desperately needed around there. Let's put it on like that. One we didn't really need to take off, but I've forgotten we didn't need to take off, so it's just like, ugh, right, go on. You know, the last person I think serviced power supplies for me, as in did this, was actually Anna, ironically, my fiance. And it was some years ago, so it was when we were in Kidderminster. And I actually posted a post of her working at the desk with, it was Model B supplies, I think, at the time. And I remember someone actually on the Facebook group, this is on the Acorn Enthusiast Facebook group, said, "You've got a girlfriend that services BBC Micro power supplies. Where can I get one of those from?" I was like, yeah, no, she does. It's true. When she's not cooking dinner. I'll be like, cook me any dinner? Probably not. I hate these things. I knew this was going to be horrible when we started. There's probably like a proper way or proper tool for doing this that I haven't got, as I said. So blooming pain to get in, blooming pain to get back out. Come on. I'm assuming they are the same size. Yeah, they're the same bit. Just I should probably put new ones on, really, but because these are what, nearly 40 years old, so that goes on there. That goes around there. I wish I hadn't taken this off now. Come on. I was hoping that would just pop back together, but come on, we've got a lot of stuff to do tonight. Me just wrestling with one power supply is not. Yeah, there we go. Hey, I won. We're in. Okay. Generally speaking, I tended not to put these in all honesty, but I didn't generally bother with that one. No, sorry, Brad, I'm not with Scotland. You know what? It was shouty Scottish woman, Nicola Sturgeon or whatever her name was, that scared me. It's like, no. If you're overseas, you're gonna have no idea what we're talking about. One thing I said I wasn't going to do. We're not doing politics. We're not doing politics on the channel. That was just a off-the-cuff remark. Oh, can I get this back in quick? Okay. Come on. Do you know what? I am very tempted to leave that. if I left on the others. It's not great, but it'll be all right. So, all right. Oh, okay. Moving on. Oh, there are some people. Got some people still watching. Great. Okay, so screwdrivers everywhere. Just make a pile of tools over there. Police. Fair excuse, Tom. Do you know what? I have to be careful what I say on these streams. Because you sometimes will say things and I'm like, oh God, I shouldn't have said that. You've generally got to be very careful these days. I'm sure you can appreciate that. So anyway, right, back to computing. Okay, so here's the machine, and so this is the one that's got this interesting composite mod, which I think is bridging for the BNC jack, which is composite out. It's bridging between black and white and colour. So now then. The next interesting thing is, have we got the fixings? We don't technically need the fixings to test this. We can just put it in. Making sure our power supply is in the off position. We do need... How does that work? Hang on, I think that goes in... Power supply goes in like... Power supply goes in like that. Board goes in on top, he says. That's not sitting. Why is that not sitting right? What's it got trapped on? Feel it's rocking on something. What's it rocking on? It shouldn't be. Oh no, it's there. Weird, very weird. Okay. Right, what we do need to do is we need to link, because this is for grounding purposes. There's two grounds here that need to be linked together, so let's just get that. There we go, something like that. Right, parts. So got this little clip which goes over here. That goes on like that. This is now guessed apart for which bit. These are the PCB. So I suppose we couldn't screw the PCB in. Wouldn't hurt. Where's the... I assume they're the PCB. That's not right. Where's the PCB mount holes? He says... I know there's two that go in there, I know that much. So, and that's these going on there. When you've got a load of screws left over at the end, you know you've got a problem. One there, one there. One there. One there. I'm waiting for some, do you know what, actually talking about Scotland, I'm waiting for some sort of, that's a loud motorbike, blimey. I'm waiting for some like computer event or something to happen in Scotland that we can get invited to. That'd be interesting. Because I know you both commented that that's Brian and Gartmon have both commented that you've not been able to come down to any of the events happening in more the south of the country, because obviously it is a big trek, and I totally understand that. It's like, is there nothing happening up in Scotland? I'm guessing the Scottish retro scene is probably as bleak as it is here in Shropshire, in this part of England, where there's nothing going on. Trust me, I've tried to make things kind of like artificially happen, and it still hasn't worked, so it can be very, very frustrating. So the reason I'm putting the screws in is just because we need to make sure that we've I don't even know if those are the right screws, but we need to make sure we've connected the grounds up, which is what these two do. This one's always I don't think that's right, but this'll do for the minute. This'll do for the minute till I change my mind. There should be some PCB. I can't figure out where the piece. There's lots of what look like screw holes, which look obvious, but there's nothing underneath them, which is a bit strange. It certainly didn't go in there. Those I know do. So the board is in, sort of. You'd logically think that would be. I'll have to have a look at the other one in a minute to see where the screws actually go, because I honestly can't remember. I can't remember. Let me just refer to the other machine quickly, which is screwed together, so I can actually see what's meant to go where, because I, as I said, can't remember. So what are the okay. That goes there. That's not hard. Oh, the keyboard. Oh, I see. I know what I've done. Right. Okay. Keyboard screws. That's what those are. So the board is actually in. That isn't the right screw, but these flat ones I'm talking about are actually keyboard screws. I knew that. That makes sense. The reason I was confused is these flat ones are very similar to the PCB mount screws in a BBC Master, so appreciate this is off camera, so just bear with me. Right, keyboard is in. The ROM for this is there, so let's just put the keyboard in. I was surprised then. There was, there is or was a once per month ABUG, that's the Acorn BBC Micro group, meet in Falkirk. Might have been a bit the dust now though. Organisers relocated to Spain. Yeah. A lot of events, mainly things like Raspberry Pi Jams, you probably already noticed, bit the dust, unfortunately. So due to COVID and not being able to get places and events anymore, Venues for events, sorry. Right. Red on top. Ground. These are the voltage, so that goes there, that goes there. That goes... And they just reach. So you know you've got your cabling in correct when they just reach. So that goes there. So one bit of the BBC Micro design I never liked was this sort of bridging. So purple goes there? No, is that? Hang on. That goes there, that goes there, yes. Let me just refer to the other machine. It's a good job I got another one to look at, isn't it? 'Cause oops. Things flying everywhere. Let's have another look at the different machine in a minute. Oh, I see what I've done. I see what I've done. That's not right at all. That's not right at all. That's why it doesn't work. Right, got you. And it is red on top. Right, let's try that again. Right. Being very careful. I'm sorry for the wobbly camera. I'm just trying to get these off because I have had these on the Model Bs get so tight they actually rip the connectors off the PCB, which you kind of don't want to do. So, okay, these two go down here. So, red on top, black ground on bottom. These then go here. Red, black, red, black, and then there we go. Purple on there. Okay. That's in. That's connected, that's in, that's in. So I've got my AV cable, my little TFT monitor from last time. So we just pull this forward a little bit. And I'll just pop something behind that so it doesn't reflect the light. Hang on. Right. Okay. I'm just running off this TFT like I did last time just because it's easier. BNC connector in. It's easier than trying to hook this up to the capture card. Well, I could have done the capture card. I'm just, yeah, we'll do this. It's easier for testing. Right, that's in. I haven't had to fire the soldering iron up yet either, which is impressive. Okay. That's off. Put the little display, there we are, display is on. No sound hooked up. Where's the sound hook on this? I can't remember. It's probably under the keyboard, you know. And I've just screwed the keyboard in, if that's annoying. I think it's under the keyboard on this? I can't remember. Anyway, we won't hear a beep is what I'm saying, but let's not worry about that for a minute. Okay. That's now on. Ready? Oh, good sound. Hey! And we're alive. And this one hasn't messed around and it's just gone straight to this is not a language, which is fine. And it's giving us the star, which is the supervisor prompt. Excellent. And if I go ROMs, everything is unplugged, but it's there. The keyboard, which by the way hasn't been tested either, is working really well. So I don't know if I can call basic because there isn't, basic isn't implemented. So it's all on this single ROM chip. Excellent. That's really, really good. That's a good start. Brake works fine. Yeah, it's actually behaving itself. It's working a little bit better than the other one because it's a later revision. So it's a later power supply in a later revision Mark II board. So things were slightly improved over the earlier one that we're using. So I've got an example of both, which is nice to have. So, interesting. So the question is, if we put some batteries in here and we set the CMOS up, then it should keep the settings. If it keeps the settings, then this machine is potentially good to go, which is exciting. And we've got about half an hour. I'd like to be off by 10 tonight because I'm hungry. But that's interesting. So I think what we're going to do is, this is a great point to go and have a little break. I'm going to have a cup of tea. Well, I'll go and make a cup of tea, bring it back up. And also grab some AA batteries from somewhere so we can populate this power supply, this battery box. We'll connect that up and we'll see if this machine is running fine. That's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. Right, let's go for a tea break and I'll be right back. In the meantime, I'll leave you with the music and BBM BBS, and we'll be back in, try and be quick as I can, but I usually say about 10 minutes, so I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Yeah, so I went searching for AA batteries. Found 2. I need 3. I don't particularly want to mix the brands up. Whoa, have I got any? Well, we could always test the ones that are in the other power pack. That I don't really want to mix batteries up if I can help it. It's probably absolutely, well, I'll say it's not absolutely fine to do it, but you get the gist. I'm just looking in the chat. Does anyone find Tom's volume quite low? No, should be peaking about. I don't. Yeah, I mean, I can crank it a little bit, but problem is that what happens is I then start clipping because I talks too loud. It generally does record a little bit quiet. I do need to think about changing the audio kit actually. But generally I can tend to go a little bit quiet, speak a little bit softer. So hopefully that's all right for everybody. Right, I'm just going to play rubbage in the cupboards to see what we've got. Do you reckon those will work? MacLeod. Wrong type anyway. Possibly a little bit too old now. I did have some batteries. Where have they gone? Someday I'll have a proper sort out. And by the way, I will be quiet because I'm over here now, not over there by the mic. So, but no, I do need to sort out what I'm doing with audio. I have tried a few things. For audio, which sort of haven't worked. So it's probably just getting to the point of needing to invest. I swore I had a pack of batteries. Failing that, we'll grab the ones out the other. Don't let it all fly off. Earth has happened to that. Right, can't find them. I will find them as soon as we finish. I will find them. But right, get in there. Let's raid. Let's raid the batteries off the other supply. They should be alright, but I'll just put a multimeter across them and test. So those are in the box, which is hiding from me. Where did that go? Oh, it's here. I swore I found batteries the other day, but never mind. Right. So I got these, which were in the BBC, which I only replaced last year. So we'll take them out. Oh, there's 2 Duracell brand now. So I seem to have got 2 fresh batches of everything and not 3. But let's just multimeter battery 1.5 mode. There we go. 1.2. Yeah, they're fine. They're absolutely fine. So we'll put those in. I knew it wasn't the batteries, but we kept losing CMOS on the get the battery out. There we go. Drop the battery on the floor. On 2, where's that battery on? There we are. 3. I knew it wasn't the batteries. So, right. New batteries. Yeah, in future, if you can't hear me, people, do just say. I mean, I can't hear my audio levels because I'm obviously not wearing headphones. And I used to find that when I used to do live radio, it used to be very disconcerting hearing, especially if there was any delay. Right, they're in, they're fine. So this plug, we've got it marked here as black red. So do we go black on top, red on bottom? Probably should just power down the machine. I don't think this makes a difference, but we'll power down the machine. Okay. So battery pack in. Much neater job on those than mine. New batteries in, battery pack in, power back up. Okay, no sounds, I've not put a speaker in. Because the speaker connects in, I'm trying to see, just under the keyboard. So that's the shroud I found, which goes like that. The speaker is in here. So I'm thinking this machine, I might set this one up as my Co-Pro dedicated gem machine. And the other one, there's a speaker, the other one I'm thinking I'll set up for some of the modern port games. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Which machine will have the card in? Possibly this one for the terminal stuff. So that goes. Hang on, I'm trying to work this out. Right. So the speaker, it just clips in like that. Wires go underneath. And then I kind of wish I hadn't done put the keyboard in, but just, there's a little plug. Oh, do you know what? Let's not do this with the machine on. That might be clever. Okay. And that friction fits like that. Hey! Wasn't awfully loud, but unless it's in the wrong way around. Is it in the wrong way around? Or was it just quite, I can't remember if these had a volume or not. I think they did. Let's just try that the other way in case it's the wrong way around. Can't think it's the wrong way around, but you never know. Right. Yeah, it was the wrong way around. Excellent. Right then. So, final thing we'll do this evening is we'll set up the CMOS. So if we go back to bird flu. No, this website, and so that gives you the circuit diagram, you see, and it talks about how to do it. So basically it now tells you how to set up everything. So we've done the prompt at ROMs. And then it's ST for status. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut back. I'll explain what I'm doing. But basically we've got to check the status, and then it's CO dot, and there's all these CO commands here that have to be manually typed in. Yeah, So let's just do that. So you'll see it on the screen up here. So you can look at the screen. I'm going to, which I don't know if I can give you any larger picture. I should tell you what, if I put the lid back on. Ooh. Put the lid back on. Dust off the monitor. And I'll zoom you in. So apologies for blurry vision, just bear with me. There we go. Right. Okay, so you can now see what I'm typing as I type it. And hopefully this will work. Okay, so we need to go CO. But also we'll learn if the keyboard's working properly. Bar rate 4. CO dot no boot. CO, by the way, is short for config. Caps, you want it to load in, caps mode, so you want it to load with caps lock on. CO dot data 4. I can't remember what that is. I used to know. CO dot, this keyboard is a bit filthy though, this could do it for clean. Delay 50. CO dot, it says no tube. I do want the tube interface on, so we'll say tube. CO dot no directory. CO dot floppy drive, which we do want. F drive is on 0. CO dot file 9. CO dot floppy. CO dot ignore 10. Oops. Let's type that. CO dot ignore 10. There we are. CO dot language 12. CO dot, this is the boot mode 135, which is it shadow mode 7. CO dot loud for the sound. CO dot print 1. CO dot print 1. CO dot repeat, that's for key repeat. Come on, Tom, spell repeat right. Repeat 5. CO dot scroll we'll have on. And then finally TV mode CO dot TV 0,1. Now do a control break. So yeah, this keyboard is really icky. Let's just do S dot and then I think do I need to plug the ROMs in? I think I need to plug the ROMs in. Hang on. Yeah, that might help to actually plug the ROMs in. So we've done the setup, but you see the ROMs? And everything is unplugged. So yeah, that helps. Something like this. So if I go underscore, hang on, underscore, hang on, it's in a funny place. No, come on. Yeah, that don't work. How do I plug the ROMs in? I can't remember. I've gone blank. Right. Why can't I remember how to plug the ROM? Because right, can't find basic because basic isn't working. So I've gone blank. I just call ROM. So basic is C. No, how do I do that? I can't remember. Does the website say something? Let's have a look. Okay, well, okay, yeah, break. Oh, flash, stupid idiot, flashing cursor, right, okay, not underscore FC, like an idiot, right. Yep, we do, but it's all unplugged. If you wish to unplug or insert, oh, here we are. Okay, right, that's fine. So we go, I see. It's called me not reading. Right, it's, yeah, thanks, bro. I've just realised that, yeah. I went totally blank. It's a long time since I've done this, so I'm just like, I know, you know, when you know how to do something and then you forget because you haven't done it in like forever. That's that case, yeah. So you see how it's actually we need to put the filing system in. So we need ADFS, we need basic ADFS and DFS in. So I actually would need a terminal as well at some point. So in. Insert, so we'll say C for basic, insert D, that's ADFS filing system, and insert 9 for DFS, jailbreak, nearly, what didn't I do? Oh, hang on. It's not C, is it? It's, yeah, 9 works. So 10, 11, 12. I think it's number 12. Yeah. Hexadecimal. So although it shows that it's counting from 0 to 9, then going ABC, which is hexadecimal, you actually insert it as 12. So I see. Yeah, I remember now. It's all coming back. It's a long time since I've done this. So 16, 15, 14. Nope, 13. Yep. So you see how it doesn't say unplugged at the end. I don't need view really, but we'll leave for a minute. I will. Yeah, we're okay. So it's 15, isn't it? So I might incorporate the terminal. Nope, not run. Runs. Excellent. Control brake. Ta-da! Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, one thing I just want to test quick. So we're now in basic, we're in mode 2. And colour. Actually, I think the American colour work. Yeah. Oh, it is colour. There's a bit of a lag on that though. Might have to change my settings up a bit, but. And you've got flashing colours. So basically, on all BBC Model Bs up to this, or sorry, BBC models up to this point, it's the B and C for composite out has always been mono, unless you manually modded it. This has a switch. Yeah. And that's actually turning it. It's a bit flaky. There you go. That switch is a bit flaky, but basically we have colour composite out on this, which is cool. And because it's basic 4, the American spelling of colour and the British spelling with the U work. The Model Bs with basic 2, that doesn't work. It has to be the British spelling. And unless you go C.2, which is additional way of doing it, you'd actually brick your programs if you were trying to run them with a British ROM and not the NTSC American ROM. So, compatibility problem. Fantastic. Yeah, really, really happy. I'm just going to zoom us back out manually. So just give me a minute. Oh, how far out are we going? There we go. I think you're in focus. No, not quite. Come on. There we are. So, oh, we've gone. I hate this camera. Because obviously the tolerances are really tight. So I'm just adjusting it. There we go. Stay in focus. There we are. Thank you. Right. Just quickly back to the microphone issue then. So, and apologies for any handling noise. This is the mic that's used. It's a USB. It's actually a recorder, but it's in like USB live through mode. It's a good few years old. I bought that when I was a student. So, yeah, I've had it. It's well over a decade old. So I probably do need to think about upgrading my sound. It's done very well though, and that microphone has pretty much done all the sound recording for all the videos on Wi-Fi Sheep pretty much since the year dot. Generally don't use camera mics because you get a lot of handling noise, so I've always generally used that as a third party mic. So yeah, not bad. It's done a good service, but it does need replacement. I'm really thrilled with that. That has worked really well, he says. But I guess let's turn off the machine. Let's turn it off on the mains. Let's just give it a minute. Now, if this has worked, and this machine desperately needs a clean. The keyboard, it was that typing, it's horrible. It's just because it's actually really mucky. I didn't realise how mucky that was. So I'll just get that a quick clean down. It should scrub up quite nice. The machine generally is in really nice shape, this one. So really nice. Okay. If this has kept the settings, this should now just boot. Yes. Excellent. That works. So we can replicate that with the other one. I get this clean and get all the screws back in properly. Then we have at least got 2 BBC Master 128s ready for service. I want to put the CoPro, PiTube Direct CoPro card in this machine, because I'd like this to be the one that can run Gem basically and PC stuff, so it won't need any external SD card type support. So I get Gartmon's just asking me, are you not worried when it all goes smoothly? Just a bit. No, it's nice when it works. It's nice we don't have to do any soldering tonight either. It's just that's kind of amazing. It's literally just screw things back together, and yeah, we spent half of it fighting with a power supply. No, this is going to scrub up, so I need to get the case. Yeah, the case has got a bit of spring in it, but yeah, I've had this with slightly warping cases. I've had a Model B that did this. Did it sort of just slightly? Yeah. I mean, it's been together, so it hasn't been screwed together, so that might be the issue. But or there's something just catching somewhere. So there's your slots for your cards, your cartridges. The Master 128 also was kind of unique in having cartridges. And I do have a couple of ROM carts actually. Right, I think this is a great place to leave it for tonight. So thank you all, everybody. A reminder again, I need to grab a piece of paper and my notes for this. So just a reminder again what's going on. I am not going to be live streaming next week. So there's going to be no 8 till late next week. The week after that, commencing, this will be Saturday the 8th of February 2025. I will be back at 2000 hours GMT for the next edition of 8 till late, where we'll probably carry on with what we're doing here. So we'll be fitting cards and getting this machine, which we've just done, up and running properly, give it a clean probably, and then we'll have a look at the other machine again. So if I can get 2 up and running, that would be fantastic. And yeah, be fantastic. So we'll have a look at, if it all goes well, 2 weeks time, we'll have a look at Gem, which I've covered Gem a few times. There is a couple of videos on Gem already, but we'll have a look at Gem, and I'll probably look at tapping the video stream of these live into the stream so you can actually see properly the video output, not just peering at the screen on camera. So that's that. Yeah, I'm just looking at the chat. I think all the fun would be missing if everything was edited. What, we've spent an hour with me trying to pry grommets out of a power supply with, you know, really amateurishly, only to then discover that it was one of these power supplies that didn't need the caps changing. Yeah. By the way, I'm just going to show you this because I've got this all prepared, just quick. So these are the actual cap packs you can buy, and these are the replacement reefers and even replacement cable ties, and there's also some electrolytics. So I buy these in like pack, you see, 5-pack, because I've done quite a few BBC Micro services, but not recently, not in the past sort of 6 years or so. But I have done service, and I've sold a couple of Model Bs on, and I had 4 Master 128s, and one of them I serviced up. It was the one, if you look at, there's a video, it was done a long time ago now on the channel where I service a BBC Master 128. That one actually got sold on, so I actually managed to sell that. And a 5¼ inch floppy drive for it as well. So yeah, so thanks everybody. We'll be doing this again same time in 2 weeks time from 2000 hours 8 o'clock GMT. Hoping to get some stuff on the channel at some point. I am recording stuff. If you want a very sneak peek of what I'm doing, you see that? There we go. another Acorn machine, the Acorn Risk PC. Well, this is now an empty shell of an Acorn Risk PC, so that's what I've got working on. And I say Risk PCs as in plural, more than one. So that's being a really interesting project. If you are a Patreon backer or channel member on YouTube, I'm going to drop some photos and stuff about that project, so you'll have a bit of heads up as to what I'm doing. Really interesting project. Excuse me, I drank my tea too fast. Really interesting project that, and it goes hand in hand with this. I'm going to buy I was going to make one, but I'm going to buy one. A RS-232 to CH340 serial adapter for the BBC Micro that will allow you to connect. I was talking to Brian about this on, I think were we doing it via email, or was I talking to you live on the chat thing on Night Owl BBS? I think it was live, wasn't it? And just like a chat thing, because thing like Night Owl and the other BBS, especially if Brian's on the other end, he sees you're online, he'll come and have a chat with you and like text and type in. We were talking about serial comms and how Night Owl works, because Night Owl is powered by BBC Micro. Well, actually, it's one of these, isn't it? 128. So I was quite interested in serials, so I'm going to buy a serial comms. That's my telly deciding it's going to sleep. Stop it. Right. So I was going to look at buying an RS-232 serial comms, so we can actually do some serial terminal stuff with BBC Micros that I think would be quite fun. So yeah, loads of stuff. Also, I haven't forgotten the other stuff I said we were going to do. So servicing the troublesome C64 Maxi, fitting it with a USB-C power supply, which is a must. And also we're going to be looking at some of the Atari ST and BPI, because I know there was interest with the my favourite thing, the Atari ST gem-based operating system. So that's coming up as well. Stuff has been shot for the other channels, Wi-Fi Sheet 2, and also for Garden Farm, Grow Up Garden Farm. I just haven't got around to doing any of that because I'm far too busy, but there's loads of stuff in the works. It's just nice to be back. I will say, obviously, thank you to those of you that have actually been in touch with me again over the week. It's just nice. That's giving me the motivation. It's giving me the motivation to kind of get back in and sort of get back with, especially the BBCs and the Acorn stuff, the stuff I started with, the stuff that I kind of enjoy the most, and I kind of just been sidetracked for years with other things for various reasons, and it's not necessarily bad, but it's nice to be back with the stuff I grew up with, the stuff that interests me the most. So thanks everyone for your kind of well, I would say, well, it is support in a kind of way, but it's just nice to have those conversations and then sort of think, yeah, actually, you get a buzz about doing something again. So that's really, really good, and it's been really helpful. So thanks all. Right, that is it for me for this evening. So thanks so much everybody for being here live, or if you're going to watch on demand later on, greatly appreciated. Don't forget you can find us across Patreon, YouTube, X and Threads. You can also find us on Blue Sky and Mastodon at Wi-Fi Sheep normally works, and wi-fi-sheep.co.uk, which desperately need a rebuild, so don't visit there just yet. Again, I'll remind you, there's no 8 till 8 next week. I am back in 2 weeks' time, which will be Saturday, the 8th of February from 2000 hours GMT. From myself and everyone here, which is just Anna and the dog, everyone here at Wi-Fi Sheep in Central Shropshire, thank you so much for your company. The time, 22:20, 100 hours GMT. A very good night.